podcast is powered by Audiohaus Dublin.
That's the life that we're aiming for with the Hyperloop.
Is your chair squeaking?
I think so.
Oh, fuck. Go on, keep going. Keep talking about
We'll
the
make it
Hyperloop.
through.
Hello guys, it's Monks in the Trunk. Welcome back. We're here with Akhil Voorakkara, legend, engineering genius, and employee of many prestigious organizations.
I like to think so.
Yes, exactly. They know. Yeah, welcome on, man. Fucking thanks for coming on, of course.
It's good to be here.
And
It's good to be back.
it's good to
It's
be
good
back.
to be back.
Exactly.
There we go.
You and McCall are well
It's been a
acquainted.
while. Many things have happened. Many bits have been done.
Many bits have been done.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Well, congratulations. You've made it back to Audiohaus to see the fantastic work that has happened. We got some crazy ass
Very nice.
table rotation. We got a whole 90 degrees going here. We got some fancy ass new cameras. I'm looking at you. We got
I think the coasters.
I think the coasters do make it. The
Oh,
coasters.
deserve
deserve a
Don't
mention
forget
at
the
least.
pig.
Don't forget Porky.
Porky.
Say hi,
We got porky.
Yeah. So yeah, shit. What you been getting up to? Well, we know what you've been getting up to. Tell the audience what you've been getting up to.
Well, basically, I had a nice summer since the last time I was here. I just relaxed, stayed at home most of the summer. Didn't
see.
do much.
Yeah.
Just
Same as me.
Just flaking out, really.
Just flaked out.
Yeah.
Only went to California for a month.
As you do. Yeah.
Said hi to my good buddy Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Had some chats with him. And
Drove a few Teslas.
Yeah, drove a few Teslas.
Elon doesn't
saw
return
some-
my mail anymore.
Saw some rockets. That was nice.
Oh,
That was
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
And then worked for Jaguar Land Rover. Made some cars drive themselves. That was fun. Drove some fast cars. Didn't break any speed limits now.
Oh.
Of course not. Obviously.
Of course not. Jesus.
All safe driving. Everything under the
Everything
speed
within
limit.
the
Exactly.
law,
Well insured.
Within the raw.
Everything's safe.
Um,
And then now here I am. Back in college. Back to the grind. Back to it.
back to Monks
Just,
in the Trunk.
doing some bits here and there.
That's it. That's the way to go.
Mhm.
And I may have overheard words about California and Elon Musk in that. Can you elaborate on this small detail?
Yes,
Please.
yeah. It's minor details.
Minor
you know,
detail,
no-
minor
nothing
detail.
major. Don't.
Nothing
Just a
major.
small thing.
I
Don't
don't want to
take-
excite anyone, but
No.
I did hear the
No,
words
no.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, I know. So I was last time I was here, I was talking about the Hyperloop. The future
yes.
of transport. We're talking about going from Dublin to Galway in just 10 minutes, right?
Yes.
That's a game changer. Imagine being able to live in Dublin, but your work is in Paris. That's
Crazy.
the life that we're aiming for with the
Is your
Hyperloop.
chair squeaking?
I think so.
Oh, fuck.
I think
Go on, keep going. Keep talking about
we'll
the
make it
Hyperloop.
through. And yeah, so that's the future that we're working towards with the idea of
Yeah.
the Hyperloop. We're talking about pods going in these big vacuum tubes
Okay.
above, underground, under the sea.
Yeah.
And then, quick explainer. The point of the vacuum is that there's no drag, no air resistance, because air resistance is like basically at high speeds. Going from 0 to 500 miles an hour is far easier than going from 500 to 600 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Because drag is a force multiplied by speed. So the higher speed you're at, the more drag you have. So like at high speeds, you're basically driving against 1,000 brick walls.
Yeah.
So if you're in a vacuum, suddenly all those problems disappear, and now you can go from 500 to 1,000 miles an hour way easier, way quicker, way less energy. And that's where the Hyperloop comes in. That's the whole concept behind it.
Process.
And so I was part of a team, an Irish team called Airloop, and we were one of the top 20 teams in the world, 20 student teams in the world, who were selected by SpaceX to build our concepts for a Hyperloop pod, and then bring it to California, bring it to SpaceX HQ, show it off to Elon Musk, race against the other top teams, see who has the fastest Hyperloop pod out there. And so, the culmination of pretty much a year's work was this July, when we, the Irish team, we brought our pod over to California. We brought it to SpaceX headquarters. In the end, we came 5th in the whole world. It was huge. Consider this,
man.
we had a budget of, including like benefit in kind, cash, all that. Our budget was maybe around 300k, right? The team that came second, they had 2 million euros.
Jesus
we
Christ.
were competing right up there with them. I guess that just goes to show, like, Irish talent, Irish innovation. It's huge.
It's there.
We got it.
Yeah.
And so, we came 5th, and then not only did we come 5th, but we were one of only 2 teams to win an innovation award from Elon Musk himself.
Good God.
The other team to win the innovation award, they were the team that won. Think about how much money and resources they might have had if the team that came second spent 2 million euros.
Imagine.
And while over there, it was amazing. We got to show off work that we had, me and the other students, we all got to show off work that we had come up with, things we had designed, we had built ourselves. We got to show it off to actual rocket scientists.
Yeah.
People who actually build things that go to space were complimenting us on our work, and that that was huge, obviously.
Yeah,
that was a big signal that we were on the right path, that we were doing something right out here. And then, of course, the big boss came over. We had on the finals, being one of the top teams, we actually had Elon Musk come over, and I got to teach him some stuff about our pod. I got to tell him, this is how it works. We have some wheels here, we have some motors here, and basically you press go and it goes really, really fast. And just to put that into perspective, the actual Hyperloop, the goal is to go from Dublin to Galway in like 10 minutes, 11 minutes, right? Our pod, the pod that we built, the pod that we actually ran at SpaceX on their test track, can do that in 20 minutes.
Wow.
We're pretty close.
So you're very close.
We're
That's
very
incredible.
close. We're halfway there, pretty much.
And explain to me, like, the idea of zero drag in a vacuum is quite intuitive, but what's the driving force that actually pushes this pod through the track?
So that's the point of the competition, right?
Yeah.
We have to figure out what's the best driving
what's
force.
your driving force?
We have some teams doing like some crazy maglev shit. Some team had essentially rocket engines in the back, and we're just like, what's going on there?
And of course, somebody had to
too
work
spicy
the
for
brakes.
us.
Yeah.
And then we actually had a pretty innovative electric drive system. So that's why we got, we didn't have some crazy rockets or maglev. Yeah. We just had a, run of the mill electric drive system, but the way we applied our power was really innovative. I guess that's why we got the innovation award.
Yeah.
So we had our motors in a configuration where basically they were driving wheels that were clamped sideways on a rail.
Okay.
And because of that, these wheels didn't have to bear the weight of the pod and couldn't get thrown off by bumps in the track when the pod would get swayed side to side, because it was clamped along the sides.
I see this.
Basically, our pod was really simple to control because of mechanical constraints. Equal power was applied to the rail at all time, and then our pod went really fast.
Wow. Very impressive. Very impressive.
I could talk for hours on the technical details, but can't be doing that.
I mean, do you ever think that a Hyperloop will be a thing? Do you ever think it'll be...
Absolutely.
In like a useful sense? Yeah.
To first see if it's useful or not, there has to be the first Hyperloop.
Yeah, of course.
That's going to happen. That's already, there's contracts in India, a coast to, Midlands route has actually been commissioned by the government in India. God. That's huge. That's like a, 1,000-kilometer route that's actually being contracted for. It's actually happening. And then in Dubai, they want to turn their entire... They have the money to do it as well. They want to make their entire public transport system the Hyperloop.
Jesus.
It's happening. A month or two back in Spain, an actual Hyperloop pod was unveiled. It's really happening. It's really kicking off. The future is literally happening. We're really living in it. Think of this. Just the other day, researchers in MIT created a plane with no moving parts. If you've ever seen like Star Trek or Star Wars, you hear about the ion drive and that kind of technology, and you're like, what the fuck is that? The thing is, it's actually real now. Yeah. There's a plane that has no fans, no nothing, like no moving parts. All it has are batteries and then wires in the wings. And how it works is there are wires that are positively charged at the front of the plane.
Yeah.
And they attract they take all these ions, all these negative particles away from molecules in the air.
Really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So now the molecules in the air are positively charged. And then the back of the plane has some wires. that are negatively charged.
So the whole
so
thing
the positive, positive attracts negative.
Yeah.
So these molecules of air are then attracted to the back of the plane. And you have this plane that has no moving parts or anything. And it's just energizing the air to push itself forward.
The whole thing is delivery pulled through the air by electrical charge. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And they just had their first prototype fly the other day.
That's insane.
How
much does this thing weigh? Is it a lightweight sort of design?
It's super lightweight.
Yeah.
Super efficient.
That's insane.
Think about it. If they're doing this now, imagine in 10 years. They could have this scaled up, we could have some real ass spaceships.
That's ridiculous.
We could have some real space planes. Like that could be a thing. That technology that we see in sci-fi books, sci-fi movies.
Like Back to the Future.
Yeah, Back to the Future, Star Wars, all of that. It's happening right now.
That's mad.
And that's exactly what the Hyperloop is part of.
I suppose they would have to think about, would that work in space? Probably not in the same way because you got no air. But I mean, like, but that's ridiculous that people can conceptualize and even just do that.
Yeah.
Now that's insane. And like, I suppose there are skeptics who would say that the Hyperloop is, like a 60s fantasy idea. Like
that it's unrealistic.
It's unrealistic. Yeah.
That the investment is too great, the capital cost is too high. Think about this. People said the same thing about cars. Said the same thing about planes. They said the same thing about damn boats. Like, and look at them. They're all everywhere. It took, if you look back on it, and if you look at history, like the first cars, for the first, few decades, like it was really for the elite and the rich. But look now, we're here 100 years later and everyone's driving a car.
Electric cars, self-driving cars.
We all have our learner's permit, at least, I would hope. We're
oh, Jesus.
Shit, we're bad. Okay, well,
so it's about, like, there's always going to be the naysayers. There's always going to be the haters, the people who don't believe in it.
Yeah, of course.
It's with every technology. Remember, think about this, like, something that's more recent. The iPhone, that came out 2007, right? I'm sure there's a company you guys have heard of, Intel. Make most of the chips in people's computers and everything. Huge company. Apple approached Intel and were like, make the chip that powers the iPhone. And Intel was like, this was a big company, a huge company known for being innovative.
Yeah.
They were like, nah, it's not going to be a thing.
Oh, shit.
Imagine.
The CEO who made that decision, he got fired pretty quickly. I'll say that. So there's always going to be huge people who you think, are really great, that say no to these things. But if you look at history, nothing stops innovation.
No, nothing does. In terms of the man himself, Elon Musk, do you think he actually has a sort of special spark in terms of innovation? Because, it's almost like he seems to be the man who would get us to Mars rather than NASA themselves, or rather than any actual space agency, or him, or almost it seems like space has become a private endeavor.
Yeah.
At this point, between him and Jeff Bezos, and Amazon is doing crazy stuff as well.
Yeah. He is that once in a generation talent that's like the catalyst, who inspires other people and make things happen, right? I think so. He is the guy.
Yeah.
Like from even when we were talking to him, right? I would be explaining to him like about the pod, like it does this and that, and he would be listening really quiet. And then the questions he would ask are exactly the type of questions you would think he'd ask. He's not asking any of the,
not the
like,
bullshit
you're not the bullshit, and like not like when you can see the big ass electric motors. He's not the type of guy to ask what powers it. He's the type of guy to ask like, what's the torque on those suspension springs, and why did you do that?
Yeah.
That guy is a guy like when you're talking to him, he's constantly thinking, he's constantly making moves. And when you have that kind of guy in the position that he is, it's impossible. It's wrong to say that things like going to Mars won't happen. When we have people like that in the world, and then it's not even like he's the only person doing it. Like you mentioned Jeff Bezos. That guy's giving him some real competition.
Oh, 100%.
And when there's competition, that's when things thrive, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean,
the biggest competition, for example, is war.
Yeah.
And the greatest innovations, the internet, technology, like
space
that,
travel, all that crazy shit,
came from war. And this is just like that. It's war between two billionaires.
Yeah, isn't it?
And it works out better for all of us in the end, right?
Nobody gets blown up, and we all still get holidays to the moon. Everyone's happy.
There's a mad story behind how like Wi-Fi got discovered and stuff. It was like this. it was this sexy.
Yeah, they
shit.
found Wi-Fi. They didn't make it.
They didn't
They
make
just
it,
found
they discovered Wi-Fi.
I mean,
Someone opened their iPhone in like 2008. It's like,
No,
what's
what I'm
this?
trying
My God, Starbucks 2347.
Jesus.
All right. Yeah,
it was like
tell
this.
us.
It was this really good-looking woman, and she was like, nobody just kind of thought about like.
How it always starts.
Jesus.
This is on.
Like
So like.
Spider-Man 2.
So. So she like discovered Wi-Fi and stuff, but like nobody cared because.
Why are you doing this,
No.
huh? She discovered Wi-Fi, man.
she did this.
All right, now it's
didn't-
like a go on.
She
Go on.
didn't discover it. She made she kind of engineered Wi-Fi in a sense, you know.
That's the word.
And nobody
I like
um
it, engineered.
nobody cared about it because she was too good looking. Like, and people were just like, "Oh, she's fit." And then when she died, everyone started flicking through her journals and stuff, and they found Wi-Fi. Well,
All right. You know what?
it's madness.
That actually is madness. That's true. That is madness. Macaulay, your national treasure. All right. Fair play. Thank you for that story. Do you have any comments on the discovery of Wi-Fi?
Just saying, like, I hope one day I can flick through some journals and discover some shit like
that's
that. You know?
that's a very good point. I hope one day I can just flick through some journals and discover all manner of Wi-Fi's and hi-Fi's and cancer cures and
Exactly.
that sort of stuff. One day.
That's what Colin said. Like, the cure for cancer is probably like hidden away in some brain that just doesn't have the resources to discover it.
No, fact is, it's
Well.
hidden away by some pharmaceutical company.
That's
I'm telling
more
you,
like
big
it.
business,
That's
big
actually more like it.
corporations. You know, they have it. They have it sitting on a shelf somewhere, little box mark.
I mean, I guess it's funny, right? Because cancer is a funny one. Because it is like
It's not a
he starts
funny one.
laughing. Jesus,
Jesus.
you know what I mean? It's not a funny one.
Christ.
It's a strange one, okay?
You're a
Because
poor human being.
because like it's like
You're bad.
it's the disease to end all diseases, right?
Yeah.
Because genetic entropy almost is like a thing, right? There is no
There is no.
there is a limit.
There's no birth marker. There's
there's a limit to
Yeah.
how far it can go.
Yeah.
Like a cure to cancer is almost more than anything a cure to death, and that's not something we can cure because we do have a code that is like like
Bro, you forget about the
2.3
afterlife.
billion years old. You know, like a metabolic code you cannot change really, and like yeah, obviously somebody's gonna come up with a cure for like cancer. I feel like it has to happen in a sort of manageable sense, but I don't think it's the sort of thing you can, you know,
Yeah. No.
statistically speaking.
I kind of see what you mean. Like,
Yeah.
you know, they might figure out a way to remove all the
Yeah.
tumors,
Exactly.
things
yeah.
like that. But that person's still gonna die slightly earlier than everyone else. You know.
It's almost
Why?
like, well, because
Their body's gonna be worn out. Like
Yeah.
right now, chemotherapy. People who survive chemotherapy, their bodies are severely weakened
yeah,
by it.
I mean you can recover. You can recover from that,
Yeah.
obviously. But I mean, like, not even that. It's just once you get it, like you have a genetic disposition
Yeah.
towards it, and that's not something you can just change. You can't change your genetics. That'd be
Well,
fantastic. Well, see, we're working on
now-
that actually.
Now
That's true.
in China, where regulations are slightly more relaxed than out here in the West,
That's
we'll
true.
say, there's they are actually experimenting on live animals,
Oh yeah,
Genetic
yeah.
mutations. and stuff.
live embryos, like embryos that have been conceived already, and before this animal has been born, they analyze its genetic code. They look at what kind of diseases it might get,
Yes,
delete that code, and then the animal is born, healthy. And
that's the thing.
Looking
That
good.
I feel like
That's-
that is the
that's-
genius thing.
that's something that's happening right now.
Yeah.
They've done it with sheep. They've done it with dogs. They did a thing with like beagles or something, and basically the beagles were born absolutely shredded.
They're born
beagles,
built.
like-
Yeah,
they
yeah,
were
yeah,
born
yeah.
so built just
That's
because they
it.
like changed some things in the market. Like these were beagles that would be like the runt of the litter, like the weakest ones, and they just
Yeah.
changed small markers in their genetic code while they were embryos.
I mean, it's a funny one. Like genetics is like a code that we don't fully understand yet, but once we do, like, we can,
Once we
whether we
do,
should,
we will have the power over death.
whether we should or not, we can we can play God. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like it's
and
a funny
China
one.
is already doing it.
They're already doing it exactly.
China's
Like,
so ahead of the game with absolutely everything, man.
it's just because they have like
Those
it's a
relax.
drive. No, it's just a drive. Like I mean, like
Yeah.
we're like we value certain things over other things.
Yeah.
China values progress over everything else.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And
Communism.
Then why the fuck are they so communist? Yeah.
That's the point. Like
they're not so
that's
communist.
it, you
Not
know?
so communist anymore
is
as they
They're-
used to be. They're still communist, but they're not.
pseudo-communist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I mean, scientifically, like they're probably like in terms of genetics because they don't have the same restrictions in terms of ethics that like Western scientists would have.
Yeah.
They probably are ahead.
Yeah.
They probably are far ahead.
Yeah.
Because they can do things we cannot do, and
And
that realistically, like it's a terrible thing that they. I mean, some people would see it as a terrible thing. I don't know. It's so black and white, so gray. You don't know,
Yeah.
but people would see it. Some people would see it as a terrible thing that they can do things that they can do and they can get away with it.
yeah.
But it is like a sacrifice for a victory at the end of the day.
Yeah, for the greater good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also just to get back to an earlier point, the point about competition. The reason China is relaxed, the reason China pushes for progress is because they want to show the West, they want to show us infidels that they are better.
They're
right?
better. Yeah.
That's the whole thing, right? You know, you see like, the US has their F-22 Raptor, their fighter jet. You know, that's billions over budget, but it can hide from radar.
Yeah.
China's always shouting on about their indigenous version. I forgot the name version, and it's like we can hide from radar too, but we did it at 1/10 the cost of you.
Yeah.
You know, that competition with the West has, I think, pushed China
Yeah.
to be as good as they are.
I agree.
Hopefully, we'll cop on as well and
Ireland
start catching
I
up
mean,
to them.
I don't know. I feel like it's all about almost like the smaller values, you
Yeah.
know, that each country has. Like,
Yeah. But don't sell Ireland short as well.
oh no,
you know?
like the progress that we are doing, we are punching above our weight. No,
Yeah,
no
definitely.
problem.
Yeah.
You wouldn't realize there are some fields, like some major game changing
Yeah.
fields where Ireland is actually the leader. Where we're literally like,
What are some examples?
for example, AI and machine learning,
Yeah.
artificial intelligence. Some of the biggest companies involved in that, a lot of that work is being done right here in Dublin.
Yeah.
Think about this. So you know DJI, the drone company.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, all their drones have this this chip in them, made by a company called Movidius, and that chip
Gaming company.
is used for those drones to recognize hand gestures.
Okay.
It's how those drones, when you in the app you draw a box around a person, that drone like tracks this person,
Okay.
and it's all done through computer vision. And there's a chip in it made by a company called Movidius. That company was co-founded by a guy called David Maloney, Irish guy. That company was and is based in Ireland. That company has been acquired by Intel, in the quite recently.
Yeah.
But that company is based in Ireland, and they make the chips that are powering, the drones and the biggest drone company in the whole world. DJI, right?
Yeah.
Their chips are in everything from home security cameras
Yeah.
to self-driving cars, that
Okay.
kind of stuff.
And it's recognition technology.
Yeah, recognition technology. The actual hardware that
Yeah.
can look at a person and be like, that's a person.
That's them. Yeah.
And then see what they're doing. At a hardware level, that's huge.
That's incredible. Yeah.
There's no software over incredible speed. That's happening right here in Ireland. That's an Irish company that's leading that industry.
It's the same with Stripe as well.
Yeah.
They are absolutely taking over that whole
Payments.
payments
Yeah.
processing and stuff. And
Oh,
there's
yeah.
just two boys down in Limerick that
It's
came
crazy
up.
Yeah.
They are making bank where they're in Silicon Valley, right?
Yeah, they're literally in the billions of dollars. Once again, that's coming right here from our. I think that's a big thing. Like people, especially like I feel like our generation. I know a lot of people who are always on going J1 to Canada or like America because it's like a more exciting place.
Okay.
I feel like those people, they're not looking around here enough.
Yeah.
I've been to Canada, I've been to America. I know what it's like there, and it's great and everything. But you gotta try the opportunities here. You'd be surprised how easy it is. In Ireland, it's such a small country. it's like literally is the whole it gives a whole new meaning to it's a small world, because you always, when you're going to events like startup events, things like that, you always run into people. It's always the same people doing it. I think people like in the wider community need to realize that right here it's always the same people. There's huge opportunity for new people to come in with their ideas and succeed here.
And do you know what? I think that's a weird thing about Irish society, is that people are almost afraid to step out of their little box.
Absolutely. People think it's not right to step out of their little box.
As if it's like a weird thing, like fulfill your potential, do something.
Like I have a load of friends who are always like, I'm especially in college and stuff, like they see what I'm doing. I'm like, how were you able to do that? How are you able to like go to these companies being like a first year student and be like, give me a job? Do they not just laugh at you?
Yeah.
They don't, because the point is you have to show your drive and show like, look, I'm good at this. I can fucking do it. Like, just give me the opportunity. Like, you really need to push. But people don't realize, like, here the thing is, people don't realize that you can do that. They don't realize that the opportunity is there, and that people, like, especially here, I think it's just, it's so ingrained in our culture, from years and years of oppression from the British or whatever,
maybe,
right?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, whatever it is, but it's here. People don't realize that, like, if you have an idea, don't like, shrug it off. Go and you can go and do it, and people don't realize that here.
I think there's definitely people are afraid to like almost like afraid to toot their own horns. Like even like you'd be in secondary school, people be afraid to stand up in front of the class and talk. Like it's easy. Just stand up and speak your mind, or fucking do your presentation and look people in the eye. Like
it's. I don't mean this in a bad way, but people need to, I guess, get over themselves.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
They need to, like, here. I think the one of the things is people too much care about what other people will see, when they look. But you got to realize that you actually have, like, just because some other people are like, oh, look at this guy, like, he's off doing what? Who does he think he is doing this?
Yeah.
A few people saying that isn't going to affect your life.
100%. Yeah.
That's a few people saying that. You honestly don't give a fuck about that, and go and, if you have something that you want to do, go and do it. You have only everything to gain.
Yeah. What do you have to lose? Exactly.
Just like you guys, doing your podcast, Monks in the Trunk, right? It's right here. This is it. This is the whole success story. You guys who are like, don't give a fuck what other people are thinking. Like, I'm just gonna go and do me.
It's all about just not caring about what other people think about you. And I think that's a big thing in our society as well right now, like social media and stuff. People want to be perceived as something they're not, almost,
Yeah.
And it's better to just be yourself.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
You know what? That's important.
Mm.
Hold that thought. Because James Hogan is dying for a piss.
Oh, you're dying for a piss. All right.
We'll be back in 2 minutes.
No, we can
break.
keep going. You can just take a piss break.
All right.
We'll just keep shouting on about how great of a man Elon Musk is.
Oh, great man.
Hey, he got fired from the CEO position the other day. Oh,
No.
Wait, what did he get?
He got fired from being chairman of the board, which is essentially a ceremonial position.
Oh, so it was chairman, was it?
Yeah, he's still CEO.
Oh,
he's
CEO.
still in charge. He's still majority shareholder. Nobody's going to take that away from him.
Yeah, and so
like
what power does that take away from him? Not being chairman. No power. It's just
like
on paper and
in
shit.
chairman, you get to, call certain votes and stuff.
Yeah.
But like
he
being a
does that
chairman,
anyway.
you still have only one vote on the board and things like that. And like, he's definitely the type of guy. The person who's appointed as chairman, Elon Musk, is still going to be the invisible hand.
Yeah, definitely.
But like that whole thing was a slap on the wrist. There's a reason that Friday, before that deal was cut, the shares were way down. Deal was cut, and then in pre-market hours on Monday, the shares skyrocketed. They went way up, and then as soon as the market opened,
And were you on that?
Of course I was.
Of course you were.
Of course.
And what you were saying earlier about Apple shares and Facebook shares being low as fuck right now.
Yeah. Well, Facebook has made some bad decisions in terms of data, that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff. Their whole bet with Oculus hasn't really paid off. Things like that. Earnings not
what
so
about
well.
Instagram?
But
Instagram's
Apple,
booming.
Instagram is, but Facebook, their main thing, is not, right?
True. Yeah.
WhatsApp is booming as well, but they're just small parts of the big Facebook empire. And then Apple is, it's that, they need a new innovation that's like, nice background noise, eh? They need a new innovation like.
Hey, go turn the lights off, you prick! You're fucking with the whole thing, man.
The vibe is dead.
The vibe is dead, man.
The vibe is dead.
Reminds me. Alright, till next. No, I'm joking. Let's keep going.
Let's keep going.
So we were just saying about how Facebook are absolutely butchering business.
I don't think Facebook are doing so well anymore. Yeah, I think Facebook is sort of dead.
It's not.
Well, no, it's not.
It might be dead to our generation, but that's because people like our generation have moved on to Instagram, Snapchat, that kind of stuff. That's where we use, and because of that, Facebook has. They used to be growing at an exponential rate.
Now it's more steady, is it?
Yeah, now it's more of a steady growth.
Yeah,
and, shareholders
with
don't
the
like steady
dip
growth.
Down
yeah, definitely. I feel like Facebook does appeal more to the sort of like maybe 30, 40-year-olds now because Instagram and Twitter are so like bite-sized almost. People just throw out thoughts, throw out pictures,
and it's so interactive as well. Like,
and that's what our generation like.
We do like bite-sized.
We're impatient.
That's all it is really at the end of the day.
And Facebook is paying for that. But like the thing is, like you mentioned, Facebook owns Instagram.
Yeah.
They own WhatsApp. And because they own such platforms that are growing and growing, I think in the long run they'll be fine.
Yeah. The company that is Facebook will be fine.
They've placed their safe bets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be all right.
And then like with Apple as well.
So Apple, the problem there is like, remember when the iPhone came out? Everyone was like, holy shit,
incredible.
This is a game changer.
Yeah.
That was a game changing innovation. But the difference with that and like, other things, you can buy a car that is a plane. That exists. You can buy that. Except it's so out of reach for the everyday person. But the iPhone was something that like my dad bought an iPhone when it came out, Like our parents, like people that we know could actually buy the iPhone.
It was there. It was accessible.
That was the game-changing innovation that was accessible, and that's why their sales every year up. But finally, people, smartphones are such a huge thing that it's reached its rate of proliferation where now like everyone has a smartphone, and now, like before, iPhone sales exponential.
Yeah,
they're not growing anymore. I bought the iPhone 7 back when it came out. Paid like $700 for that, and I got like nice one, high storage, all that shit. Now for $700, you can't even buy like the iPhone XR, like the iPhone 10R,
which is like the lowest tier.
Yeah, which is their lowest tier. You know why they've jacked the prices up?
Why?
They're not selling as many units. They need to maintain their profitability. So that's why everything costs more now.
Yeah.
And that's not a good sign.
That's funny. I always thought.
That's why Jack always points it out. It's like, the OnePlus and shit. They make all these phones so cheap, and you just wonder how. How the fuck are they making this absolutely mad phone that's just like the fucking iPhone 10, and it's like what, a quarter of the price, a third of the price.
It's crazy, man. But
it's because these companies are new, right? And when you're new, you don't need to jack the prices up because you're new. Everyone loves something that's
you're
new.
A novelty.
You're a novelty, and OnePlus still has that novelty where like we make phones that absolutely slap, but they're so much cheaper than the other phones.
Yeah.
And right now that's more true than ever. Like even Samsung has their €1,000 phones.
Yeah, 100%.
But then Samsung and even Google, Samsung, Apple, all their phones €1,000 plus.
The mainline ones generally are. Yeah.
Just 2 years ago it was like €700, €600, and that's the thing. I think how Apple needs to recover. Obviously, their share prices are way down. If you look at it, it's because they haven't released that great accessible innovation.
Yeah,
and I guess that's what we're all waiting for. What's the next great accessible innovation that everyone can just go into a store and buy instantly?
Yeah,
but then tell me why are people still so attached to iPhones? What is it that they've done that's got people overly attached to iPhone? Like, with me, when I think of buying a new phone, I have the SE right now.
Yeah.
And when I think of getting a new phone, for some reason, the first thing on my mind is an iPhone. Whereas the OnePlus is probably the better shout.
Yeah. It's because, first of all, they were the first, they were the first household name to make a smartphone.
Yeah.
Like a full all touchscreen phone. We had Blackberries before. Remember when Blackberry was the shit?
Imagine Blackberry was the big thing for a while.
Blackberry used to be like Apple because you could go on the internet on that. Whereas these guys, it was the future. It was like what you saw in the movies. It was just a touchscreen, nothing else. And that's why it was a household name who released a product like no other, and that's why Apple has stayed in our. That's why iPhone has stayed in our
Yeah.
heads, because it's literally like, it was the first big, great smartphone with like
Yeah.
no buttons, no nothing. And like I said, anyone could buy it.
Yeah.
You could walk into a store and you could buy that, have it in your hand, straight away.
Now it's just so expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now it's just so expensive. Now the competitors are everywhere. It's not the
Yeah.
innovation it once was.
So with that one innovation, they've sort of historically planted themselves as the smartphone guys.
Yeah.
And they're still riding off that wave.
Yeah, well, not anymore.
Well,
Not anymore.
Yeah.
They were riding off that wave till the last quarter.
really, is that all it takes? A
Has
small
it plummeted a lot?
Yes.
Like how much?
Before the day before the results came out, people thought these results were gonna slap.
Yeah.
221 was the Apple share price.
Okay.
Right now it's 172.
My God,
That's mad.
It's a big drop.
that's a very
And
serious
how many?
drop.
They've like millions of shares, don't they?
Yeah, their market cap was $1 trillion.
Jesus
now
Christ.
it's like 920 billion dollars.
see,
They've
this
lost
is
a big drop.
lost 80
This
billion.
is- This
Yeah.
is where Jeff Bezos comes in with his massive guns.
Oh,
You know.
yeah.
But then there's another story as well. Like Jeff Bezos, Prime Day. It was their most successful Prime Day.
Yeah,
But then Jack Ma,
yeah.
he like outdid the Prime Day numbers in 10
That's
minutes.
Chinese numbers.
Is it Chinese
It's
numbers?
Chinese numbers. Don't, take everything. Take that kind of stuff with a pinch of salt.
Oh Jesus, man! I just got
You know,
shut
he's
down.
Akil, he's young. He doesn't understand. He doesn't understand.
But he's a
No.
Keel. He
He's
understands.
Akil. He understands.
No.
Exactly.
There was. I actually read a few articles about
Yeah.
exactly that. Like,
Okay.
it was the same thing. Like, it was like AliExpress absolutely destroys Prime Day numbers.
Okay.
But here's why you should look deeper. And
Yeah.
It
Oh,
was
that's
an
important,
explanation
yeah.
of how the Chinese market is. They had their Singles Day and sales, things like that, and it's so disgustingly much bigger.
Yeah.
Like, you have 1.4 billion people
Yeah.
in that country, 300 million in America.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Wait, 1.4 billion.
Yeah.
That's
Like
mad.
India is the second
I
most populated country in the world, and that's 1.2 billion. Right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Like AliExpress, Alibaba, their market is literally, India, China, that whole, Southeast Asian subcontinent,
That's
where there's so many people.
yeah.
But it's not like, Africa has so many people as well.
Yeah.
But it's so many people who have internet access.
Oh, it's a good fucking almost more than a quarter of the population.
Yeah.
Like it's
Oh,
And it's
shit.
because of that,
yeah.
things like that they're able to blow away Amazon.
Okay.
Whereas Amazon US is like 300 million people,
Yeah. Between US and UK even like it's
That's what Jack
The
Ma.
UK
It's not
is
that
70
much.
million.
Yeah,
Like
it's
you
like-
add up US, UK,
It's
Germany,
fuck all,
France,
really, yeah.
it still doesn't add up to the population
Not
of
even
like
close.
China alone.
And like in terms of sales, McCullough's saying they blew Amazon Prime Day away, but in terms of
10
profit,
minutes, like
is it the same story? Like, did they really succeed?
Sweatshop labor and all that.
I know, like
They're
it's
pretty
not good
competitive.
stuff, but it does.
It's not
I
good
guess, I
stuff,
guess it fucking
but
works for them.
That is how a lot of them can make their money. It's
Yeah.
not sweatshop labor per se,
Yeah.
because you think about it, they pay a lot less in wages there,
Yeah.
but it costs the workers a lot less to live there.
Okay.
So it works itself out. It's just like
it's just like
for
us
example,
working in pennies and
in
stuff.
India and stuff, right? In India, like my cousins,
yeah.
my relatives who work there, like they get paid like a good salary
Yeah.
to live in India.
Okay.
Like the salary I would get paid like here as an intern, like it's nothing that special or anything,
Okay.
Like it's a decent salary, but it's nothing insane or anything.
Yeah.
But that salary, like in India, would be like, yes, I have a house, I own my own property, I have a nice car and everything.
Okay.
And I could live off like an intern salary here because the cost of living there is so much lower.
Oh, I understand. Yeah.
Like
okay.
for example, big things like a car costs the same in India as it does here. A phone costs like the same in India as it does here.
yeah.
But like rent in India, way less than here.
Okay. But you.
Food in India, way less than
What's
here.
inflation like over there?
Oh, like it's high enough. The economy is growing at like an insane rate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because people don't realize this, but like the Indian Prime Minister is like, he's fairly right wing. He's like a lot like Trump in his economic policies.
Okay.
Like there's a whole okay, you know how Trump was like, I'm gonna get iPhones made in the US,
Yeah.
and he hasn't done it yet.
No.
This guy was like, I'm
Understand.
gonna get iPhones made in India, and he did it.
Really?
And the
Wow.
reason for that is because India is a market of 1.2 billion people.
Yeah.
And when the leader of 1.2 billion people goes to your company, make your products here, otherwise I'll make them so expensive that no one in my country can buy them. You listen.
You say yes.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a whole different ball game. And
It's
yeah,
crazy.
so this guy is like, he has this. He's while he does believe in global warming and he's quite smart like that,
That's good.
he has similar economic policies like companies who import products from outside of India pay huge import taxes.
Okay.
But like if you're making your like OnePlus has a huge factory in India because they make their phones in India. They sell in India at a cheaper price. Selling in India at a cheaper price. Everyone likes cheaper things.
Yeah.
1.2 billion people like cheaper
That's a
things.
lot of money. Yeah.
You see, when we have a innovation and entrepreneurship module in our in my college course, and one of the lads in our group was like, "Here, can we just make some fucking company that's got something to do with India? Because India is about to like get free internet access all over, and it's about to blow up with people having internet access. So if you get there early enough, you can make mad amounts of money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Like there's like a company that I invested in a while back
smart man. You see,
called well, I won't say what they're called. I'm not gonna
Okay.
do that kind
Give
of
us a fake name.
Yeah, but basically this company
it's called
was-
Jimmy.
they are an Indian online clothes retailer like ASOS.
Yeah.
But in India.
Okay.
Mhm.
So like I bought shares of them because
It's about to
pretty much
explode,
what
man.
you just said.
Yeah.
And the returns have been very good. Very,
Yeah.
very good. Because more and more people in India are like getting access to the internet.
Yeah.
They're learning they can buy shit online. And companies like this Indian ASOS are obviously selling way, way more as more people get on the internet.
Yeah.
More revenue, more more
I feel
growth,
like we should have done that
just
idea.
a higher share price. But yeah,
Yeah.
like that's the thing, the big companies are targeting developing markets like India and
Of
China.
course. Yeah.
Because you have so many people there who are just catching up to the West.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And it's almost like they get to skip the steps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the best possible way.
Yeah.
Because like obviously India is a very sort of polarized nation in that you have a lot of people living in fantastic wealth and a lot of people living in
Yeah.
Incredible poverty.
Absolutely.
But
And it's mad, like the people who live in like absolute poverty,
yeah.
they all have smartphones.
That's
you
what I
know?
was. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They all still have internet access, so it's a very strange sort of market.
Yeah, but that again is that internet access is changing how those people who live in poverty, make money,
Yeah,
live their lives. Like the whole thing in India. There's so MasterCard and Visa wrote a letter to Donald Trump. This
What did
is
they
a
say?
while back. They wrote a letter to Donald Trump asking him and the White House to basically ask the Indian Prime Minister to stop favoring this thing called rupee, which is a play on words of rupee, the Indian currency.
yeah.
Rupee, which is like basically PayPal or like Venmo,
Okay.
or like that, but for the Indian subcontinent.
Yeah.
Because MasterCard and Visa were suffering such losses because all of the Indians were using, like now in India, it's the same thing in China. You can
Yeah.
send money through WeChat and things like that.
Okay.
In India, like everyone texts each other money now. It's
Yeah,
all gone
yeah,
digital.
yeah.
And because of that, the transactions are blowing up. More and
my
more
God.
people are buying things. Like more nowadays, more people they're not afraid to go and buy things in the markets and things like that
Yeah.
because they just pay online and things like that. They don't have to travel around with big
Loads
cash
of
and things like.
Yeah, of
And
course,
that's changing the way people deal with those in poverty in India.
Mm.
And I think it's changing it for the better. Of course, the slums aren't going to disappear overnight. It's going to
Yeah.
take years and years. But like, as technology advances in India, people will advance as well.
Yeah, of course.
That's mad. It's mad because I never thought that population has such a big impact on this.
Yeah, no,
And
absolutely.
it's huge actually if you think
Yeah.
about it. And another thing I thought about is like all these capitalism is so funny in that way because I feel like everybody kind of benefits from it
Yeah,
except for the poor.
yeah,
The poor.
yeah.
But then again, if you think about it, because everybody's getting richer, surely there's less people less poor people. There's more like working class people. And
Yeah.
stuff, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, how, like, in the ideal world, how the poor benefit. Like, the idea with capitalism is the poor don't stay poor because of the trickle down effect,
Yeah.
where things eventually become affordable for them, and then they're able to move themselves up in
Yeah.
the world.
It's
And we're
mad.
seeing that happen right
yeah.
now.
Yeah, of course. Even if you look at
It
Ireland.
already happened here in like Ireland and
Yeah,
the UK and
exactly.
everything,
Yeah.
but now it's happening in Asia as well.
Yeah, they're only a few years behind when you really look at it because of how much quicker
Yeah,
the economic growth is for them based on the population compared to how it was for us
Yeah,
in the 1800s. It's like, it's phenomenal
yeah, absolutely.
how much they're catching up on the big players, really.
Yeah,
And if you look at it, I guarantee you in 20 years, China and India will be the biggest players on the global
Absolutely.
economic.
like I think there was a recent tweet or something by the Indian Prime Minister, and it
Yeah.
was something about the growth
What's his
rate.
name?
Modi, Narendra Modi. So like, you know, MODI.
He's
Yeah,
the Modi.
yeah. He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's only the leader of 1.2 billion people.
Yeah, he's a big
Maybe
guy.
I'll meet him this summer.
Hopefully.
If you do,
Yeah,
tell him to come on,
tell him
Monks.
say hi from Monks the
Yeah,
Truck.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but
We send our regards.
yeah, no, actually, I met him in 4th year. But
Did you actually?
Yeah, he came to Ireland.
No way.
Yeah, he came to Ireland, and there was a whole meet and greet thing
Wow.
in
Oh, what, you shook his hand?
yeah, basically.
Fair play to him, man. Let me shake-
Basically.
I'm
Oh,
gonna shake your hand.
Oh.
I'm shaking his hand too.
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah, I guess that doesn't count as meeting him.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like, the tweet was about the growth rate of India and how India is actually growing faster than even China now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that just
It really
just
is.
goes to show.
It
I don't
really is.
doubt it for a second. Like,
And that's-
and
yeah, there's this interesting thing about like war-torn countries.
Yeah.
Like people think like war-torn countries are fucked, but if you think about it, the only thing that war-torn countries do is provide new opportunities for growth and economic growth and stuff. That's
New
why.
opportunities for recovery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Right?
why.
Yeah.
That's this whole thing in Ukraine. Like my parents are following the whole thing, but in Ukraine, the whole country is getting fucked by war right now. But what it's partially, what is practically creating is new opportunities for growth,
Yeah.
and that's what it's almost like they're saying like it's turning into a little bit of a Silicon Valley, if you get me.
Of course.
And that's
yeah.
the same with India, and it's the
Yeah.
same with like all these countries that may have been torn by war or poverty.
Yeah.
There's just such great
Yeah.
opportunities for
Yeah.
all of them.
it's,
Yeah,
it's almost
while-
like a blank slate, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Of course, while it is a terrible, terrible thing,
Yeah.
There's
you're
always
right. It
ups
is.
and downs,
It is.
like-
It is a huge opportunity. The blank slate thing. That's huge. You know. Imagine. Imagine you had the idea for Uber, but Uber wasn't there, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing in these war-torn countries because they have nothing,
Yeah.
but they can look at the Western world. They can look at the other countries and see what they have,
be inspired,
and then
like-
start it, and then be inspired, and then start up things that work in the other countries in their own country, and then
Yeah.
grow faster than ever before,
Yeah.
right?
That's the thing about China as well. It's because they're growing at such a fast rate. Like it's taken the West and the US and stuff. It's taken years for them to develop that.
Yeah,
But for them, it's like that's what Colin Keogh said that on his one.
yeah,
Why Africa is doing so well is because they completely skipped phone lines.
yeah.
Oh man, they skipped a lot of stuff.
They
that we had
skipped a
to
lot
go
of shit.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
got straight to the point, and that's the whole thing. Like
Yeah.
because innovation is moving at such a fucking speed, it's like
Yeah.
it's mad.
There's
No,
a lot of
that's it.
baggage they don't have to
Yeah.
carry around.
Yeah, yeah.
than we do. Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
it's
it.
the same thing in the war-torn countries.
Mm.
They get to learn from all the mistakes that we've made already.
Yeah.
That's mad. This is a mad chat, man. I
This is
fucking
good.
loved it. This is really good. How long
Yeah.
have we been going for?
45 minutes. 47 minutes.
47
Oh,
minutes.
Very nice.
That was very good.
Mm.
I think it was fantastic. If you all two are ready to.
Yeah, like I just
Yeah.
want to start drinking my cans again. You know.
Yeah. I need to finish this off.
Yes, exactly.
I've had to take
It's-
things slow.
It's gone too slowly. Well, no, that was actually an incredible podcast. Thank you
was
so
nice.
much.
Thank
No,
Thank you
thanks
so
so
much
much
for
for
coming
having
on.
me. It was
Yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah. We didn't even get to talk about Jaguar, man.
Oh, We talked about much more interesting.
Yeah.
Another
things.
day. Another day. Jaguar
Another
will be
day.
back.
Hey, let me just give you a little sneak peek. This guy was like doing AI and shit for fucking Jaguar, weren't you?
Yeah, self-driving cars.
Self-driving cars. Sorry, my bad.
I drove fast cars,
Mm.
and
You
then I made those cars drive
He
themselves.
drove the speedy cars, and they speedy cars
He did
sped
speed. No, wait, no,
themselves.
no.
Exactly.
All right, guys.
No,
You
no
wait for
speeding.
next podcast with
No
Akhil.
speeding.
We will talk about the speedy cars. Any
That is
shout outs you want to give, or any final words?
Yeah, quick shout out.
Shout out all your boys. Go on.
Yeah,
Go
shout
on.
out to all my boys, but follow at Lil Mork on Instagram. So that's LIL_MORK.
We'll put it in
On
the
Instagram.
we'll put it in the bio.
No, that's
Yeah.
not me. That's just one of the boys.
One of the
have
boys.
to plug.
Okay.
That's it. That's me done.
All right, Akhil.
I'll shout myself out another time.
All
That
right,
was beautiful, man.
brethren and sistren. We'll see you next time on Monks in the Truck. Woohoo!
Bye bye.
See ya.